I was just gifted the Infinity Eaze Z3 bidet seat from Mini Bidets. And this is one incredible bidet seat specifically for anybody with accessibility issues, kids, elderly, anyone who wants to improve their hygiene and take care of their dignity with a really nice bidet seat. And with that in mind, this is very different than the other bidet seats that I have reviewed. So let's unbox this and I'll show you what I'm talking about and then show you just how easy this is to install and how wonderful it is to use. Let's go. Now this is a rebranding of the Cascade 3000 with just some small improvements. And even when you open up the box, you'll see that it is a slightly taller bidet. Now you can get this for elongated or round toilet seats, and it will even fit the French rounded back toilet seats. So this is a very versatile seat, and it is also considered a very comfortable bidet seat. It can sit up to 350 pounds, and it's one of the few seats where you can actually sit on the lid. Instead of using ABS plastic, this is all made with polypropylene plastic, which gives it a little more flexibility, a little more strength. Now, as you can see, the base on this is much taller than your standard toilet seat. It kind of rounds up there, but the seat itself stays flat. It's just this base, and that's where all the components are. This is designed to be an instant hot, but I have read that for some people, you'll have a slight moment of cold before it gets to the hot water, especially if someone just used it and you use it immediately after them. But most people don't notice that. And I'll tell you right now that I have 2 luxury bidet seats in my house, and they're both instant hot. And every once in a while they do that as well. And I really don't mind. It's not actually a big deal. There's no real jolt. So keep that in mind, that that should not be an issue. And then the main piece that makes this really unique, this very accessible remote, very easy to hold on to. You can slide it off and have this hooked on the wall, so it just slides in when not in use. And then it has these color-coded large buttons that actually say what they're for. So many remotes have icons instead of the words of what these different buttons mean. So this is really nice and obvious. Now I'll show this close up and go over all these buttons in more detail once I install this. There is one other differentiator that I want to talk about before I install this, and that's that you can turn off the seat sensor, which is very, very cool, especially with anyone with mobility issues. A lot of bidet seats require even weight to work or amount of skin contact to be touching usually the back side of the ring for the bidet to even turn on. And the bidets are smart. They will turn on when they sense a person and then immediately turn off if someone stands up while they're still running. So it's a really nice feature that they have that. But if for any reason, you can actually turn off the seat sensor on this one, and then it will just work for you when you press the buttons no matter what. Let's install this and really put it to the test. So I just removed my existing bidet seat so I can install the Eaze Z3. A couple things to keep in mind is that you do need to turn off your water, flush before you start pulling this out, and you will need to add a T-valve right here. It comes with a T-valve. I already have one installed, so I just left that in there, and that's where I'll connect the bidet to the water. The other piece is that you can see on the back of my toilet, I have these 2 rubber pieces right here. These are so I can put down in top screws. What's cool about the Eaze Z3 is that it has 2 different options. You can use these rubber grommets, which I already have and I'm going to use, or it comes with these fixation bolts that you really will just take apart. And then these will go through those grommet holes instead. And this huge bolt at the top is what will hold everything together. All I'll do is put down the catch plate, and it does come with the pieces you need if you want to use bolts, but you will still need to get the bolts and the rubber grommets. I do really appreciate that this gives me both options though. as it makes it easy for anyone to install this, no matter your toilet style or existing setup. So now I should be able to slide on the seat, and all it's doing is locking in on these grooves right here on the back. So just put it down. Now, unfortunately, the top bolts I have for my existing seat are actually too tall for this, so it was making it too high for the seat to slide in. So I am going to use the bolts that came with it, and that has the washer in the middle and this little rubbery top. And these are actually way easier than the standard bidet bolts. I really like these. Once you get it down to where the square is, you'll twist at this bottom to lock it into place. Works really well. I'm actually glad the top-down bolts didn't work because I liked showing you how easy that was. That is far easier to install. Now all I need to do is slide the toilet seat on, and it really does just slide right on. And that's it. Toilet seat is on. Now all I need to do is add the hose, which means I need to add this to my T-bracket that's way in there. And then once I have that in there, I just need to twist this on here. And before I do anything else, I'm going to turn the water and make sure it's not leaking. Definitely leaking. Now the water's on, ready to go. I did have to use a wrench to tighten that. The water's on the left. For some reason, the power's on the right. This is the first seat I have come across when the power is not also on the left, which is a little challenging for me because my power is in the vanity right here on the left side. So I am going to have to use an extension cord to test this. In general, you do not want to use an extension cord. You would want to have a power outlet right here to plug it in. And now the power is on, and it does have some quick buttons right on the seat. It has an option for a light. You can also switch it into an eco mode or a max eco mode. And it does have a rear wash or a stop button directly on it. Now that I have it set up and have tested it a few times, I want to get into what expectations are different than how I initially described and understood them, and what has really impressed me. Now, to start off with, I was under the impression that this would oscillate first and then do a solid spray. When I use it, it seems to do a solid spray first, and I can choose oscillation. So I'll show you that in a moment. Another one is that I thought you could turn off the toilet sensor. You do not have the option to turn off the sensor completely, but what's unique about it is that the sensor is really just right here. So if you just get any part of skin contact on this spot, it will turn on. And before I do that, I want to tell you that I did not expect this toilet seat to be that comfortable considering how high the back is. But this is the most comfortable toilet seat I've sat on. It is a really nice seat. Now when I put my hand down here, it is going to start whirring with the deodorizer. You hear it beep and then it turns on. So this is the only part on the seat where your skin needs a touch for this entire seat to work. Now I just added a wet towel to it, which hopefully will keep it on while I test it. So let's try rear. Now it's gonna come out and it gives really, really nice pressure. That's on medium. I can have it go down a little bit, and I can also have it get much, much stronger. And then if I wanted to oscillate, I'll hit rear again, and then it will begin to oscillate. So it works really, really well. If I switch to front, it's going to start spraying for the front area, and same thing, low, medium, high. And if I hit front again, it will oscillate. I also can choose the water temp from low, medium, high. High is quite warm. Low is nice too. And medium's good. After high though, it will turn off. So if you want just cold water, it will get quite cold there. And then finally, while it's running, you may hear a whirring noise. That's the deodorizer. You can always turn that off and that won't make any noise at all. And if I wanted to, while it's going, I can adjust the nozzle. And that's these upper buttons back here. So I can have it go up or out. And then when I'm finished, just hit the big stop button and it goes on in. Now I made a bit of a mess doing that, but it definitely works. It has great spray. One thing that surprised me is when I switched from cleaning the rear to the front, it didn't go in and do a self-clean. So it's not going to do that extra self-clean between the different sprays. It only does it after the fact. Just something to keep in mind. And the last portion is the dry. And the dry is really nice. A bit more on a calm dry. And it actually has 5 levels you can go through. So you really can choose your correct drying temp. I would say I'm not as impressed with the dryer. It's not spraying up as much as I'd like, and it's not that strong, but it's still a nice dryer. If it went like that, it would just spray a little bit better. And that's really it for the buttons, minus the auto button. And all this automatic button will do is give you a 60-second oscillating rear wash and then a 3-minute dry, which you can stop at any point. This just hooks on with this double-sided tape to your wall, and then you can slide it on and off as needed. It has AA batteries. Really quite clean. I think the thing I like most about this toilet is that you really only need to put one cheek right here for it to work. Now, will I be keeping this toilet seat? No, not because it doesn't work great, but because it is much larger than the toilet seat I'm used to, and I really like the streamlined remotes on the slimline toilets in general. But I would love to give this to one of my parents. I think it is a really nice toilet seat all around, especially for anyone who's having any bathroom issues. This definitely improves your cleansing while maintaining dignity. This is a really nice toilet seat for a very specific market, and I love that about it. Very cool. I'm thrilled I was gifted it, and I think you'll love it as well.